Hello, my name is Miguel Mata, and this is the This Way Out podcast, a component of the This Way Out project. This podcast is my attempt to address a few topics that can be especially challenging for some, but hopefully in a way that speaks to the humanity in each of us. It's my attempt at being a source for positive messages in a time where such messages can be hard to find. Good morning, it's April 6th, 2020. Show of hands. Who's going overboard with the snacking lately? You can't see me, but I have two hands way up. I've been doing a little stress eating as of late, and it's not quarantine related, it's school related. These classes got me to the brink, y'all. How is it that I'm even busier now and I spend almost my entire day at home every day? How is that? I don't know. That said, I'm glad to be recording this podcast episode today and to be talking with you good people because it's a break from the grind and it's something I really enjoy doing. So for that, I am grateful. And thank you for taking a minute to listen. It reminds me that we need each other when times are tough. We need someone. As much as some of us would like to go it alone and fix our problems without assistance, in most cases, I think we all find that to be practically impossible. No matter how you might feel about interacting with other people, we all need someone to help us to, as the pop star Prince so famously sang, get through this thing we call life. I think this idea was articulated well in a video I watched recently the other day. The video featured the musical composer John Williams. And in case you don't know who John Williams is, he's the mastermind behind the music for many blockbuster films over the last 40 years or so, to include Superman, Indiana Jones, Schindler's List, Jurassic Park, to name a few. Anyway, in this particular video I was watching, he was being celebrated for writing the music in all 9 films of the Star Wars franchise. So they're talking him up something fierce, just giving him all the praises, and then he makes probably the most humbling, modest statement one could ever imagine. He says, "All I can do is write notes on a piece of paper. It takes the orchestra to make the music come to life." And my mind went, At the utterance of these words, the gears in my brain began working at max capacity, and I realized that this was a metaphor for life. Because even the genius that is John Williams can't make his own music come to life the way it's intended. He needs the help of others to make it so. People who specialize in an area or a craft to meet the need of the composition. There are people who have large roles, and there are people who have small roles. Depending on the composition, there are people whose presence is required for the entire composition, and there are people whose presence is only necessary for a moment. And the same could be said for our own lives, right? It's an illusion to believe we can't make it through life without the assistance or presence of another human being. It's folly to believe that we have orchestrated the perfect plan and that we can execute that plan all by ourselves. Not true. Let's be clear about something specific. I'm not suggesting you invite people into your lives that are clearly not good for you, not at all. And I'm not trying to force any of you to approach strangers and spontaneously spark up conversation. Although, what would be the harm in that? I kid. I know some of you are just, for talking to strangers, it's difficult. It's not a fault, it's just your personality, and that's cool. I also understand that there are those who might say, but I prefer to be by myself. I prefer to be alone than in a crowd. And to you I say, okay, not a problem, that's not a problem either. I'm not a fan of crowds either. And I definitely appreciate the peace that is solitude. What I'm saying is that as you make your way through your journey, appreciate and take advantage of the people you come across along the way. You never know when you might need them to get out of a jam or propel you forward in pursuit of a better you. On this podcast, the message will always be to get a better tomorrow, individually we need to be strong and compassionate. And together, we need to be a community of people who help each other. And if we follow the metaphor that is John Williams and his compositions, no one individual is capable of making the music a masterpiece without the contribution of the players in the orchestra. Every part plays a role, and every role is an imperative piece of the whole. Just like in our communities and in our world, we all have roles and lives, and they all connect. As in the masterpiece, from the first note to the last, every sound, every breath, and every action is an integral part of the composition. There is no such thing as insignificant. All the pieces and parts are significant. We are no different. Our communities are no different. In order for our individual part to make sense, we need to find its contribution to the whole. And in order for the whole to be a masterpiece, it needs your individual part. Just like I know I need you to make my day better by listening to this podcast, you need someone else in some way to help make your day better. And be mindful that it works the other way too. You, more than likely, have a role in someone else's life and make their day better. And even if you can't think of who that someone is, be it to make your life better or for whom you make life better, it could be because you haven't met them yet. How about that? So continue on your life's journey. Be mindful and appreciate those you encounter along the way, because we all benefit from making connections. And we never know what can come from making those connections. But as I bring this episode to a close, I wanted to make one quick announcement, which is that I'm looking for people who are willing to share their messages of hope, their stories of overcoming adversity, or just have something positive they would like to share. I'm looking for these people to be guests on my podcast. So if you have something you'd like to share and you think someone else could benefit from, leave a comment, send me an email. I would love to have you on the podcast. As usual, and as always, I hope that you are doing well and that you are in good spirits. I wish you all the very, very best, and be mindful of the snacking. I'll try to do the same where I'm at, but I tell you, it's tough. It's tough. Take care. Have a great day. God bless, and I'll talk to you again on Thursday. This has been the This Way Out podcast, a part of the This Way Out project. If you enjoyed this episode and you want to hear future episodes, please subscribe. If you would like to get in touch with me to recommend future topics, provide feedback, or for any other reason, you can comment on the episode or send me an email at thiswoe.light@gmail.com. That's thiswoe.light@gmail.com. If you're interested in the other aspects of the This Way Out project, be sure to visit my website at thiswoe-light.com.